Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here today. And let me start off by thanking Deb for being our kind host and opening up your doors and providing the great services that you do to our residents. So today we are joined here to celebrate and reflect on the Community Development Block Grant Program, which is an important funding source to a number of citywide programs. This year, it's especially timely that we're talking about this program as we did learn that CDBG formula grants were cut by $150 million in the fiscal 22 omnibus spending measure that was passed by Congress on March 11th. The people in this room, ranging from community leaders, small business owners, they all know firsthand the profound impact that CDBG has made to ensure that everyone has the tools to grow in the city of Revere. And I'm happy that we are joined today by Juana Matias on her first week, actually third day, I believe, on the job as the New England Regional Administrator for the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. Juana was appointed by President Biden and is a former state representative in the General Court. And Juana, your involvement in the community and your knowledge is certainly going to be instrumental in this new role, and we certainly appreciate and are humbled by your presence today. I also want to acknowledge our elected officials who are here with me today, specifically our state representatives, both Jessica Giannino and Jeff Turco. Thank you for being here, and we'll hear from them a little bit later. We're also joined today by our Ward 2 City Councilor, Ira Novoselsky. Thank you, Ira. The CDBG program has expanded greatly over the last few years, and that is due to a few special people who work for the city. And so I want to recognize both Tech Lang and Danielle Osterman. And we have a number of folks from the city that are here, and I know, Tech, you have a tremendous team, but under your leadership and with your organization and persistence, and sometimes guided by HUD, I know, you've ensured that countless opportunities for small businesses and residents are provided by the city. So thank you for your work. And with your help, the program will continue to grow in the city of Revere. And I know that they're going to continue to take the action necessary to ensure that all of our residents, all of our business owners have access to these opportunities. It's important to acknowledge and fully understand just how much this program is interwoven in the makeup of the city of Revere. There are three specific categories: public services, infrastructure, and small business aid that the CDBG program touches. And it does, in fact, touch almost every piece of what we do in the city of Revere. Obviously, we all know the need for public services like adult education, like childcare, have been exacerbated by the pandemic. And the CDBG program helps aid nonprofit organizations like FKO, which we're here today, kind of seeing firsthand where the CDBG money goes. With the extra funding that's available, Youth in Motion has more money to invest in essential childcare programs, things like the Calm Down Corners, which I'm looking forward to seeing in a little bit, and I know that you're going to give us a little bit of a tour afterwards, and you also get the opportunity to compensate your hardworking staff with these dollars, and that's how important those are for public services. And so this year, the city has been able to, through CDBG, fund about $660,000 in public services like adult education, like domestic violence services, and childcare. And this funding does have a lasting impact on not only all of our residents, but especially our students. And I know, Deb, you can speak to that. We've also been able to allocate $800,000 for street and sidewalk work. So the infrastructure piece of what CDBG is able to bring to the city, and that's actually the most that the city has been able to spend on infrastructure in our city's history. And we all know how important infrastructure projects can be for our community, and especially being able to do this year 9 street and sidewalk improvements will obviously be a big part of what we're doing this spring as construction season comes upon us. And most importantly, I think this money allows us to make sure that we're including important aspects such as additional handicap ramps and really ensuring that accessibility for all of our residents and visitors is achieved. I'm used to noises like that because I have 2 little ones at home, so I feel like I'm right at home, honestly. And so the other piece is small businesses and the support that we can provide to them. They have struggled for the last 2 years, and this year we're able to provide $400,000 in CDBG money to small businesses in the community, and some of whom have joined us today. I know we have folks from Sophia's Salon, and I think a few others. So special shout out to those folks, and to talk about the impact that this money has for those businesses. We had a conversation just this last week with the owner of Kelly's Beauty Salon over on Shirley Ave, and we heard directly from her that this money is going to be able to allow her to restock her inventory, allow her to pay rent, and give her the flexibility and the ability to spend less time worrying about how she's going to pay her next month's bills. And so this program truly is a game changer for so many people in our community, struggling businesses, children, and all of our residents. And so these grants have really changed people's lives. And unfortunately, we're talking about how this program is being cut. We should be talking about how to expand and grow this project and program. And I know we will get there at some point. But I'm really proud to highlight all of the great work that's being done in our partnerships that we have with organizations like FKO. So it is now my pleasure and honor to introduce my friend and State Representative Jessica Giannino to come up and say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mayor Arrigo. I really want to start by thanking Mayor Arrigo and his team, Tech, Danielle. It's really you guys that brought this here, and we're so grateful for that. And under your leadership, Mayor, thank you. I also want to thank Juana Matias from HUD and her team for being here. So exciting, and I'm so glad that you broke your first weekend in the city of Revere. We're going to bring you back a lot. Please do. I hope you're comfortable here, because you're going to be here. And Debbie and the team at 4 Kids Only, who've always been here for us when I was in the city council and now in this role, thank you. I think it's really important that we take a minute to talk about how unprecedented this is for our city. When I talk to my colleagues in the State House, these CDBG grants are in Western Mass, in Central Mass. That's where they get the funding, and they look forward to it out there because they think we're spoiled in the Boston area. But we need it, right? And it's so, so important. When I talk to people in our community and I talk about their concerns, especially at the local level, the first thing you hear about is the quality on their streets, whether it be a tree, a pothole, things like that. This money goes directly into our communities. It goes into our streets. It helps with things like handicap accessibility. It's going to put handicap accessible ramps on the roads, which I know Councilor Novoselsky is going to be very happy about because he's a huge advocate for accessibility in the city. It really is going to, do a lot of transformative things on streets and sidewalks throughout our community. But when you talk about the COVID-19 pandemic and how it's impacted our city and the state in general, you think about who it affected. It affected businesses and small businesses. It affected women-owned businesses and businesses owned by people of color. And it affected children. It affected the kids in our community and their mental health because they were home. Their education was interrupted. Their social interactions were interrupted. So the fact that, this is going to include some programs like calm down stations for emotional support and for growth as kids are transitioning, there are going to be children that this is their world. They were born in the last 2 years, and as they're growing and developing in these crucial points in their life, this is the world they're brought into, and these are the things that they were conditioned and learned. They were brought up with masks and with sanitizing and all these interesting protocols that until 2 years ago were so foreign to all of us. So they're going to need different tools to adapt than I needed when I was in school and than you needed when you were in school. So this is so, so important. In terms of our small businesses, one of the best parts about this city is all the wonderful small businesses we have, from beauty shops to restaurants to delis to everything in between. And they're the ones that were coming up and showing up to work every day. When the rest of the state was home, Revere was working. We had essential businesses. We had people in the healthcare industry. We had people that were still making sure that you could go to a local store and get food and get the supplies that you needed. So these grants are so, so, so important to our community. I'm so grateful for them. But I just really want to make sure that our city knows this is unprecedented. This is a big deal, and it's important that it's in Revere. And I know that under the mayor's leadership, we're going to keep it in Revere, and we have all the right people on board to make sure that happens. Now the next part of this is passing it on to the federal delegation, right? So we got it here on the local level. I get Rep. Turco in the State House, and we're working to make sure that we can keep the funding in Massachusetts. But now it's our job to make sure that the federal government, continues to make sure that there's money here so that programs like this can continue and that more money is added. It's not cut, because we see the need, and we're going to see the results very shortly. It's been a pleasure to work on issues like this at the State House, and on that note, I'm really excited to introduce my dear colleague and my partner for the City of Revere, Representative Turco.
Gotcha. I'll be relatively brief. I want to start by thanking the mayor and his team. These things don't happen by accident. Government works for the people when you have good people that go to work every day and figure out how do we improve our community so that we make life better and improve the quality of living for everybody in our community. And it's the mayor's team that has been diligent to go out and work with HUD and go through the laborious process that it takes to get these type of grants. And so, Mr. Mayor, I can't commend you and your team enough for, you get the credit because you're the mayor, but we know the people behind you every day that go to work, and sometimes with a smile, sometimes without. Thank you very much on behalf of the people of Revere for the good work that you do. We appreciate that. I also want to thank Senator Markey and Congresswoman Clark, Assistant Speaker Clark, because at the end of the day, my newest constituent, Congresswoman Clark, and the mayor's newest constituent and neighbor, Congresswoman Clark, these people have not forgotten Revere. They come here, they have a direct interest in the city. Congressman Clark lives here now. Senator Markey might as well live here. And they've never forgotten where, this area. And I, for one, as an elected official, have a much greater appreciation for their work and their efforts, because I get to see firsthand now from an elected official standpoint of what they do. But I think what's great about these grant programs, in particular, that I'd like to emphasize, is the adult education component of it. Education is the great equalizer. No matter where you're from, no matter what language you speak, having a program where you can go when your kids are in our schools, sometimes we forget about adults. Our kids are in the school and they're getting an education and they're learning, to speak multiple languages, and they're reinforcing their native language, they're learning English, and they go home to a family that doesn't necessarily speak English. And to have an adult literacy program that can reach out to parents and say, we want to incorporate you, we want to get you involved. I learned this many years ago. My former boss in the state Senate, his dad was a legislator for 19 years, and a very conservative man, but he taught adult ed until about a month before he died, and he's like 82 years old. And I said, Mr. Glotis, why do you do this? And he said, education is the great equalizer. And he talked about his experience in the military, and these people coming from all walks of life, and yet anyone could move ahead if they have an education. And so I just streets are important and things like that, and I don't want to downplay that, because we all know good sidewalks and handicap accessibility are important. But I just think that to me, the part that really touches me the most here is the adult education component, because it makes a difference, not just in the parents that receive the program, but in their kids every day, and it makes us a better community because of it. One other component is the mental health piece. We know, and Debbie, when she's up there can talk about, the mental health toll that COVID has taken on our kids, on ourselves, the way we think of things, in our everyday life is just, never in the history of the country have we seen it. We've been through 2 world wars, we've been through multiple different wars in our history, and I think that this period of time has caused more emotional damage and mental health damage on the people of this country. And recognizing that and stepping up and having our colleagues at the federal government, and again, what a great first week for you, so congratulations and thank you. I broke my word to speak briefly, so I'm going to end it now. Thank you very much for coming here today. For those of you, my fellow travelers, have a blessed Easter, Bona Pasqua. Thank you very much. And without further ado, the lady of the hour, Debbie, come on up.
Thank you. I have to lower the mic. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Youth in Motion, a Mass Department of Early Education and Care year-round licensed out-of-school time program operated by For Kids Only After School. Excuse me. Thank you, Mayor Arrigo, Representative Giannino, and HUD Regional Administrator Juana Matias for joining us today to celebrate CDBG Week, and Representative Turco. Standing with me is FKO Program Director of Youth in Motion, Nick Jean-Baptiste, who really deserves the accolades today for running this amazing program. I especially want to extend my gratitude to Mayor Arrigo and the mayor's entire team for organizing this event, but mostly for many years of collaboration, unwavering support, and extensive resources. Since we opened our first program for Revere children in 1998, the City of Revere has been an essential partner to FKO. Mayor Arrigo has invested in after-school and summer learning for children most in need of services. He helped launch emergency childcare for essential workers and for the city's most at-risk populations during the earliest days of the pandemic, and served as a true leader in our community's response to COVID-19. He leads with vision, integrity, and open heart. This strong support has left a heartprint that will remain on a generation of Revere children and their families as they learn and grow with us. We cannot thank you enough. I also want to thank Rep. Giannino, who has always been a strong, kind, and compassionate woman friend who knows how to get things done. You are always there for the Revere community. And Rep. Turco, who is a dear friend of mine, for your family values, your community focus, and your strong support to FKO. I am so pleased to be able to welcome Regional Administrator Juana Matias to our program today. I have watched and admired your work serving as a public servant in Lawrence as state representative and our first woman immigrant Latina representative. You consistently represented our values at FKO, advocating for economic opportunity for all, welcoming immigrants from many homelands, standing with others like us to uplift working-class families, taking a historic step by passing criminal justice reform bills, including juvenile reforms, funding programs for English language learners, and finally, passing landmark legislation on the opiate crisis. It is no surprise that President Biden asked you to serve with him at HUD. Please know that our state CDBG funding has long played a role in FKO's ability to deliver essential services to those who need it most. Thank you for these very important resources provided through HUD and for joining us here today. So today I want to highlight a new and important CDBG partnership we launched this year with Revere. The world is a challenging and at times frightening place for children today. We know that far too many children are struggling with big changes and trauma from the last 2 years. In our programs, we are seeing social, emotional, and behavioral challenges like never before, making it hard for children to self-regulate in order to stay focused, get along with their peers, and resolve conflict. The pandemic has exacerbated this problem, and there are growing numbers of children who are acting out and asking for help in this way. These children need safe, stable places to be when school is out and their parents are at work. The City of Revere provided FKO with a CDBG grant that is connecting these high-needs children with the resources required to enroll and enjoy time each day in our program, where they can engage in learning after school and have fun with friends. Here is how we do it with our CDBG funding. It's what we call our Count Me In model, which was presented at the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning National Conference in Chicago. At FKO, we use an evidence-based multi-tiered system of support to address the social emotional needs of children while skill building to encourage positive behavior. Tier 1 support provides foundational and universal support to all children in our program. Tier 2 includes targeted supports for smaller groups of children whose needs are not fully met by the universal supports provided in Tier 1. Tier 3 provides individualized support to children whose needs are not met with Tier 1 and Tier 2 supports. The CDBG grant has allowed us to support children's needs and development of self-awareness and self-management skills through the use of cool-down corners and enhancement of the reflection room upstairs. We embed calming spaces called reflection areas throughout the building. The cool-down corners in each group and the reflection room are a Tier 1 support for all children in our program. Regardless of level of need, they have access to a cool-down corner within their classroom and a break space outside their group in the reflection room. Having access to break spaces stocked with tools like weighted lap pads, noise-canceling headphones, and fidgets to support children in regulating themselves is extremely important to their growth and development. While taking a break, children utilize the cool-down corner to support in identifying the feeling associated with their body is experiencing and choosing and utilizing a coping skill to regulate themselves. Disruptions in routines, family loss, and separation, and lack of socialization due to COVID-19 has exacerbated the existing mental health needs of children. Children who have experienced trauma are particularly at risk for difficulty regulating themselves. Through this grant, we are able to purchase curriculum that can act as a Tier 2 targeted support in development of social skills. One curriculum in particular that we have purchased, called Komochis, will aid staff in SEL skill building with groups of children who need additional support to the cool-down corners. The curriculum we were able to purchase through this grant to address specific needs will be extremely helpful in mitigating the effects that the pandemic and other factors have had on children's mental health. Children who fall into the level of needing Tier 3 supports frequently need a one-on-one support from an adult. The funding we were given through the CDBG grant has allowed us to hire additional staff to provide the needed one-on-one support to a few of our children whose extensive trauma history and mental health diagnoses manifest in challenging behaviors. Having one-on-one aids was invaluable in creating individualized supports for children with higher needs to be successful in our program. These children have learned new skills around self-management, self-awareness, social awareness, and relationships, and responsible decision-making that they will be continuing to develop and practice in the future. And I'm going to ask Nick to come up and just give you a little concrete examples of what's going on in the program.
Thank you, everyone. I want to start by saying we truly appreciate everyone for being here. We thank you so much for your support. The reverse CDBG grant allows the opportunity to reduce staff to ratio-child ratios with specialists and staff who provide inclusion and behavior support and create a new initiative, Calm Down Corners, that will help every child in the program. We have completed 2 Calm Down Corners with the grant, which you will get to see today, and we will soon complete 4 more so they become a part of everyday routine at Youth in Motion. Each corner has a comfortable and sensory seating, wall visuals, soothing noise machines, and noise-reducing headphones. Evidence-based tools to help the children calm down, such as fidget toys and exercises. With these corners available in every room, children can quickly access the tools and space needed to relax and reduce feelings of frustration or anger before reaching their breaking point. The Calm Down Corners will also support with everyday practice of mindfulness activities for all children at Youth in Motion. The centers will allow children to cope with stress and difficult feelings by taking time to quietly breathe and focus and simple actions for just a moment that can help them learn to be fully present and better prepared each day to listen and learn. Finally, we are very grateful for this new CDBG grant that FKO was just awarded in a very competitive process to providing support for struggling working families in Revere who cannot afford the full cost of out-of-school time programs. 100% of these funds will go to providing scholarship for school-age children from low and moderate incomes households so they can attend summer and after-school programming to June of 2023. Thank you, guys.
So in closing, without CDBG funding, children in Revere would not have the same access to these essential services. And FKO would be without these special resources that help us meet the needs of children from all backgrounds, economic status, and nationality, including those with disabilities, mental health challenges, and behavior struggles. CDBG funding helps us to make sure everyone is supported, respected, and fully included in our after-school and summer programs. So today, I invite you after this to take a tour of our building. I would like to also honor my esteemed colleagues who received the funding as well. It is my privilege to be among you today. I am humbled. And to all of you who have led the movement and the charge here in the city. Again, I stand with you with humble appreciation to this grant, and I thank you all for being here. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Deborah, thank you so much for this introduction, for welcoming me to the city of Revere. Mayor Arrigo, Representative Turco, Representative Giannino, and Councilor, it is a pleasure to be here with you this afternoon on behalf of HUD. Happy Community Development Week. I'm honored to be in the great city of Revere and excited to start my first week at HUD celebrating CDBG programs that are directly impacting positively people and communities. And in this case, our youth. I'd like to begin by thanking Mayor Arrigo for your relentless leadership on behalf of the residents of Revere and the city's Planning and Community Development Office, led by Danielle Osterman, for your partnership. Thank you, Representative Giannino, for your state leadership and support of HUD programs. You're in my old stomping grounds. I look forward to visiting you at the State House. And I really look forward to working with all of you to continue to advance HUD's mission. I'd also like to thank HUD's CPD team, Bob Shemako and his staff for their partnership and work with the city in support of their CDBG programs. And thank you to Rhonda Siciliano, our Massachusetts Field Office Director, for being here today. All of our HUD staff make this work possible. CDBG is so successful because it empowers people and communities to design and implement strategies tailored to their own needs and priorities, such as infrastructure, as you heard from the mayor today, childcare, inclusive small businesses, equitable initiatives, and so much more. And what better way to celebrate CDBG than to gather at this For Kids Only location? As you heard from today, Kids Only offers equitable access to young people and a safe and structured environment where they can explore activities and discover new passions, all while allowing their parents the peace of mind to focus on work or school, knowing that their children's needs are being met. The pandemic highlighted just how critical these services are. In addition to fun activities, providing mental and emotional health support goes a long way, especially during these uncertain times. This is community development at its best. It is our strong federal, state, and local partnerships that have made CDBG a success in this community, and I am excited, thrilled, committed, I will be back to continue to work to advance this in the city of Revere. I look forward to continuing our partnership, and I thank you wholeheartedly for having me here today. Thank you.
So If anybody would like a tour, Nick is more than willing to take you around and see the building. Oh, by the way, as the universe would have it, today is an early release day of school, so hence the children are with us. Half of them went on, well, more than half went on a field trip. They're bowling today. But you'll see the other half in their classrooms right now. So these are school-age children that come to us every day from all of the public schools in Revere. Yeah, enjoy.